You got it.
Good. We're looking forward to this one.
Round number 1, scheduled for 8. Rules of the Consumer Protection Bureau of the state of Connecticut are in effect. Scoring is done on a 5-point must system by 2 judges and the referee. There is no standing 8 count. The 3 knockdown rule is in effect. The mandatory 8 count is also in effect. Johnny Duplooy from Johannesburg, South Africa, in the blue trunks with the pretty rainbow trim, and Steve Zouski from Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin, wearing the all-red trunks.
Duplooy from South Africa comes over to the United States. This is his first time in the U.S. of A., and he comes over with some fine credentials. He is unbeaten. He's got 7 knockouts in his 10 victories. He's got a real solid right hand and a very hard left jab. But Steve Zouski knows a bit about punches. Back in March, he took on a guy by the name of Mike Tyson, Catskill Thunder.
And he was stopped in the 3rd round. He said it was a right uppercut that almost separated his chin. And Zouski taking a pretty good punch there from Duplooy, backing up, but referee on top of the case. Zouski, by the way, has been in the ring with the likes of Marvis Frazier and Scott Frank. And as you mentioned, Mike Tyson, Tony Tubbs, Leroy Murphy. So he's been around. He's been up against the best. He is 32 years of age. His record 24-8. But certainly that record nothing to be ashamed of. And thus far, Duplooy with the better of the action in round number 1.
You can see that right hand, the zip that it has on it. Duplooy really can launch that right. Just by looking at him when he throws those punches, you can tell that he's got some zip on it. You wonder, does he have a decent chin? He claims to have never been knocked down, and he had a 223-win, 2-loss amateur record.
Well, he's only 22, Zouski 32. And again, Duplooy setting tempo here in the early going. Zouski finally landing the jab. That's really the first one that he's been able to score with. But again, he is just sitting duck thus far for Duplooy, who is showing a little bit of a combination. And Zouski is already showing serious redness under the left eye and swelling, puffiness under both eyes.
Both eyes. If you wonder about the power of Duplooy, here we are in the 1st round, and there is plums growing underneath both eyes of Zouski already. That's the hard left jab and that crisp right cross.
Duplooy weighed in at 210, Zouski at 208.
I took their Randy's reach. You just take their jabbing arm. Johnny Duplooy, 29 inches. Zouski has a longer reach, 30 and a half. And it's obvious he's not using that 1.5-inch reach advantage when he should be.
Serious swelling under the left eye of Steve Zouski as round 1 comes to an end, and quite a start for Johnny Duplooy. There's a look at the corner of Zouski. Now, do you see that left eye? Underneath, that swelling is pretty serious after just 1 round.
That could have been a thumb.
That's what I'm thinking.
In the 1st minute of this opening round, he took, I believe it was a right hand, and he stepped back. He fell towards the ropes. And this might have been the shot. You see him bobbing and weaving there. One shot caught him. That was a left hand that got in. And that might have been one. He stepped off the ropes there, blinking.
And he still has a long way to go. One thing Zouski does have is experience. Duplooy, a pretty good-looking physical specimen. His amateur record, only 2 losses in 225 fights. Impressive, wouldn't you say?
Certainly is, and what's even more impressive, in those 223 amateur wins, Bruce, 190 were knockouts. Not too many guys go the distance with Duplooy. At least they didn't as an amateur, and as a professional, he's knocked out 7 of his 10 victims.
Johnny Duplooy obviously spotting that swelling under the eye of Zouski. Let's see if he takes advantage of it here in round number 2. Duplooy is really a free spirit. Rides motorcycles, water skis, goes horseback riding, loves the outdoors, loves all sorts of sports. But boxing is where he's concentrating his efforts right now. Zouski doesn't do too much moving. He's just standing there, and against the guy with the punching power of Duplooy and the aggressive style of Duplooy, Randy, think he's got to get up on his horse and move a little bit more?
He certainly does. He's just too much of a stationary target right in front of the hard-hitting Duplooy. You've got to move that head. And from the looks of it, Duplooy is not the hardest guy in the world to hit.
Zouski swinging wildly. Not very good execution on that last punch. He's just swinging away. And he's covering up quite a bit here in the second. Duplooy is upright in the center of the ring, and a good right hand by Duplooy. Landing it solidly, and there's a good combination by Johnny Duplooy. And those eyes continue to swell.
A lot of movement. A lot of head movement now from Steve Zouski, but he's got to move the hands. He's only throwing punches one shot at a time.
Zouski bending that head as he tries to go after Duplooy, but it hasn't worked, and that right uppercut landed firmly. Now a little bit of a jab from Duplooy. Hasn't shown us much of that thus far. It's been mostly that straight right hand.
Well, he feels he can take Zouski out, or at least hit him with any one of his best shots, the left hook or the right cross. But that's a sign of inexperience, despite the fact he's had 225 amateur bouts.
Good right hand landed finally by Zouski. Inside of 30 seconds to go, as Zouski, for the first time in the fight, gets up on his toes and begins to play the aggressor. Duplooy, though, just too strong.
That left eye swelling rapidly on Zouski. If they don't put some heavy pressure on it at the end of this round, he might not have too much longer to go.
Two rounds in the books. Another convincing round for Johnny Duplooy. Round number 3. It has been dominated thus far, this fight has, by Johnny Duplooy. And the left eye of Steve Zouski showing lots
of wear and tear.
Yeah, there's a lot of red there. And Zouski taking a punishment right now from Duplooy.
The right hand you just saw Duplooy land might have been his best punch of the fight. It was short, and it landed right on the cheek of Zouski.
That right hand continues to get inside. Duplooy cheating a little bit. He's dropping the hands a little bit. He's dropping the hands, and he's just trying to uncork the right hand, but I don't really think he's got much to worry about right now because Zouski's punching power has been somewhat limited.
There's another solid right hand to the head by Duplooy. Then he went downstairs with the right hand.
That's one of the few times he's gone downstairs to the body.
Well, he sees that swelling left eye, and he's taking pot shots at it. Virtually no jab have we seen from the much heralded Johnny Duplooy.
One thing about Zouski, he'll give it his all. He says, I'm in the entertaining business, going to do the best I can, don't want to hear the fans boo. I'm going to give them a good show. And if it means going down and getting punished, he's willing to take it. But he won't go down sitting. That's for sure.
That's the way he fought against Mike Tyson last March. Zouski just walked in and brawled with Tyson. He could have run from him, but he didn't. He walked right into his wheelhouse and traded blows with the undefeated Mike Tyson, who fights for the world title against Trevor Berbick, November 22nd.
Another good combination, Duplooy. That right uppercut looks to be a potential finishing blow.
Boxing is only a part-time job for Johnny Duplooy because he has a full-time business. He owns a motorcycle shop. He repairs motorbikes. He calls them motorbikes. He said, over here, they're motorcycles.
Matter of semantics, my friend. Duplooy really trying to pick his spot now, trying to set up one big right hand.
Zouski going back to the jab, trying to keep Duplooy off balance. The thing is, Zouski has nothing to put behind it.
Zouski swinging wildly that that punch did not bother Duplooy.
Zouski grinned after he threw the punch. He figured, hey, if I got it home, maybe I'd be the winner here by knockout, but I missed, and I was quite wild with it, and he grinned when he threw it.
The right hand of Duplooy has been accurate. Inside of 15 seconds in the third round.
You can see the professional inexperience of Duplooy. He had an opportunity to crack the body with the right hand. He never took the shot. And some action from last round. You see Duplooy moving in as he's been doing, putting the steady pressure. This is right near the end of the round. He had an opportunity there to land a right to the body. He never took the shot.
Very fresh looking is Johnny Duplooy as he gets set to go for round number 4. Johnny Duplooy in the blue trunks with the rainbow trim, and Zouski in the red trunks showing a little bit of fire here in the beginning of the 4th round. Zouski really honed his skills in the U.S. Marine Corps from 1972 to 76. Captured many titles wherever he was, in San Diego, Memphis, over in Japan. He's realistic about the fact that he's never going to win a title. He says he still enjoys it, though, and he hasn't gotten hurt.
Well, tonight.
Tonight might be a little bit of a different story. Duplooy.
I really hope Zouski can survive this fight without any real physical damage, because it's starting to pain me a bit to look at his face. It's swelling above and below both eyes. He hasn't landed any punch of any consequence.
Good combination there by Duplooy. Started it off with the jab, which he hasn't shown much of. That straight right hand, though, that's the punishing blow. Now showing us a little bit of a left hook.
There's some blood trickling down the bridge of the nose now of Steve Zouski. And at this point in the fight, I'd say the referee, Sammy Maltempo, had better start thinking about stopping the fight.
Duplooy all over Zouski, and this one could end any moment. Referee taking a good hard look at Zouski. Duplooy is really punishing him. And let's see. Standing 8 count, not in effect in the state of Connecticut from what we understood.
Well, it's being administered anyway. There's no reason this fight should continue. Just no reason at all. He hasn't won a second of the fight. Perhaps he's landed one right hand in the fight, maybe one left hand. I don't even count that one. That just reached the face of Duplooy.
Hey, Zouski is gutty. He's not the kind of guy that's going to quit. Somebody's got to tell him that it's over. But right now, he's not the one, and he never will be. Duplooy all over him in round number 4. This one's scheduled for 8. Duplooy not doing much movement, really doesn't have to, just standing there in the middle of the ring, picking his spots.
Well, Bruce, what Duplooy is trying to do is look for that one big punch, the one right hand. I'd like to see Zouski make it through the round and maybe not come out for the next round, but at least just say to himself, hey, he never dropped.
It's over. With about 5 seconds to go in the 4th round, dominated fight by Duplooy. He was impressive.
There was no reason that fight should have even continued after the referee stepped in the first time. Look at the face. That tells the story, and that's the way it's been since the opening bell. Look at the shot, that right hand that Duplooy landed, and yet Zouski never went down, came back with the right hand to the body. Duplooy doing what he has to do, keeps punching. Finally, the referee stopped it.
Here's ring announcer Bob Steele.
6 seconds of the 4th round. Duplooy.
There's your winner, Johnny Duplooy.
Top judo
Front wheel, wat nou er staan.